Welcome to the land of the rising sun with the SRF Weekend Warrior Championship. It's the Origami Pretzel, the figure-8 racetrack better known as Suzuka, that'll host round 6 of 12 on season 5, right here on the Global SimRacing Channel. And all the simulated Spec Ford Racer action from green flag to victory donuts can be seen live as it happens right here, right now. Konnichiwa, and welcome to another GSRC broadcast and the countdown to green. Way up in the press box to bring you your word's eye view is me, Sean Ambrose, joined by my good friend Richie Hearn, and down in the production van, the man twisting and tweaking the dials is the hardest working one in sim racing broadcasting, Joe Peak, armed with cameras, located, aimed, zoomed, and focused by our GSRC camera guru, Dougie Beard. As cyberspace flows into your place over these 15 streaming award-worthy minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines and all the stats and facts you'll need to appreciate round 6 of the Weekend Warriors SRF series that will immediately follow as we count down to green. And now let me reintroduce Richie. And Richie, this is a fun track all the way over on the other side of the world. Been here for quite a while. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, this track is it's located in Suzuka City, Japan. It was opened in 1962. It originally was a test track for Honda, and because of that, they built a variety of corner types, a few high-speed portions, a figure-8 layout that offered a more equal amount of left and right turns, made it the perfect test track for them, but it also made it a challenging racetrack. It hosted its first F1 race in 63 and 64 before F1 went to Fuji. It's been modified several times. In 83, the Casino Triangle was added, and the Degner curve was also made into 2 corners instead of just one long curve. F1 returned in 87, and Suzuka has hosted the Japanese Grand Prix in all but 2 years since. But the best way to get an idea what it's like to get around this 17 turns on this 5.8 kilometer, 3.6 mile racetrack is to go on board and take a lap.
All right, Kevin Brown is behind the wheel of the GSRC SRF, so let's do a lap around Suzuka. Coming up, despite what you think, turn 1 is actually going to be this little kink, and 2 is the big banked hairpin after it. What makes it tricky is the kink means you've got a curved braking zone for the second corner. The draft will offer passing opportunities, but side-by-side battles could end in tears if people don't give space. After that is the infamous S's. Set yourself up for each subsequent corner and focus on keeping your line. Mess up one, and it's going to compromise you all the way down to the Dunlop curve. Obviously, there's not much passing to be done here. Even when the car in front of you makes a mistake, there's little you can do to work past. However, get a run here, and sometimes a surprise attack is possible on the left. This is more of a desperate move if you're struggling to find a way past a slower car. Now that we've hit the Dunlop curve, you're going to hug the left side of the track and get ready for Degner 1. This is a fast little kink in just about any car. The lift throttle oversteer combined with that nasty curb on the inside means the car can be pitched in the sand in a heartbeat. Degner 2 will come up on you very quickly. There's a lot of banking to use here, so chuck the car in as far as you dare and get on the power early. After the crossover bridge, you approach the fast bend leading into the hairpin. This is a great place to sneak in a pass if you can catch your opponent sleeping. But be aware that because of the preceding bend, sometimes you can't know until it's too late if the other driver is defending. Even if you're battling, you've got to hit a late apex here and get on the power as soon as you can for a good exit. Now, as we fly through the gentle bend of 12, we're going to have our foot to the floor all the way until Spoon Curve. But once again, the draft will keep things close between drivers. If you've accrued any damage, you will be a sitting duck in all the high-speed areas. Stay to the right, spot your braking marker, and gently turn it into the first apex. There's runoff to drift wide, but you'll want to keep it tidy as you get ready for the second, slower apex. This is the crucial one of the two. It dumps the cars onto the backstretch, so getting a good run will be of the utmost importance to a good lap time. Now, as we climb the hill, the draft is going to be pulling your opponent in yet again. This is going to cause some awkward situations into the fearsome 130R. In these cars, it's just a lift, but once again, that lift throttle oversteer will catch more than a few guys out, especially in close competition. After that, you drift left, and if you didn't dare your way past at 130R, you can try to outbrake them at the Casio Triangle. If it comes to a last lap battle, expect the last stand to happen here. Eat up plenty of curb, straighten out the second part, and don't get distracted by the Ferris wheel. From there, it's a matter of straightening out 17 and letting it drift to the edge of the track as you enter the front stretch. If you've managed all that, you've completed a lap around Suzuka.
Joe Peak on the mic, taking us around the Ferris wheel and over and around the hills, rolling hills of Suzuka. But since we've seen the SRF Weekend Warriors last, they visited the Glen, where Austin Winter had that kind of result he was looking for. He was named picking up his second victory of the season there in that unbroadcasted event. But with 5 races washed and folded, let's see how the points shake out now. It's Jerry Magarivi, who has 67 of them. It's not going to be here today due to work commitments, and that is going to be a hit for him, as we are figuring in now one drop week. Demetrius Houdelouis, he is now 25 points back, looks to gain those today. Now, Austin Winter, of course, by nature of that second victory this season and on a roll right now, he is now +2 up the board in third there with 33 points. And remember now that the standings take into account, like I said, one of the 4 possible drop races allowed for in the rules and indicated by the droplets and the points above, they are in effect the best 4 of 5 results. Now these points are being seen for the first time ever exclusively here on the Global SimRacing Channel. And Jerry Magarivi with a 6th, 5th, a no-show, and another one today, has a win and a runner-up in his last 2 races. Demetrius Houdelouis started hot with a pair of seconds and a win, but has missed the last 2 events. Austin Winter, as I mentioned a moment ago, has got these 2 back-to-back victories in the season opener, the most recent event, but in between it's slim pickings. And Michael Shaw's best result was a 3rd. Stephen Elson, best result was a 4th in the season opener, but it's kind of been a steady decline for him there since. But it's still really close here in the top 5, and a lot can be taken into account today. Now, Richie, let's talk about the event details, and I'm sure we've got a lot of people checking in for the first time today. Let's pull those up and fill everybody in here.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be round 6 of 12 in their 5th season. The car is the Spec Racer Ford. The setups are open, and they have about 30 minutes worth of fuel to start, which means they will have 1 stop today. Qualifying was 20 minutes of open qualifying. The race is a total of 40 minutes, and like I said earlier, they'll be making 1 stop. They do have 2 fast repairs, so a little free action there, and no incident cap, and the weather is dynamic as far as what they got playing with.
Well, you know what, Richie, let's talk about the weather real quick. Now, it's 98 degrees on track right now, and it was about that same temperature during practice. We saw some drivers struggling with the grip here, but I do see now as we're watching qualifying, David Gaspers has managed to get down to the 224.6 mark. The next driver is a full 0.8 of a second away in Joni Kajanen. Gaspers seems to have dialed in something here. Now, this is that open qualifying session. He might have gotten a little help with a little bit of draft, but don't see anybody around him now. I think that might have been on sheer power alone.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a huge gap for these cars because they are fairly close to each other. And, you know, like you said, maybe just got some clear track, maybe a little bit of draft. Still a few minutes left here, so kind of see how it shakes out. I know Richard Yallen was pretty fast in practice as well, so we'll see how he gets a little closer than that 1.2 seconds he is right now.
Yeah, Yallen held that top spot in practice for a really, really long time now. Doesn't have anybody here to ride with right now, but Yallen certainly looks to have a decent pace here. And you know what? This could be the lap he needs to put himself on top. I honestly think starting position is going to be very, very important here, as we've got a really big field today. It looks like we've got 30, I believe, registered, ready to go. And, 36 cars registered. And that could be trouble in the middle of this pack once they get started.
Yeah, it's a lot of angry Spec Racer Fords running around here. Probably going to be quite a draft fest. I don't think anybody's going to be able to pull away, and it's just going to be, like you said, you know, track position. If you can run up front, put yourself in position right near the end. But if you are running in that mid pack, you're going to be susceptible to somebody else's mistake.
And Yalin is definitely going to be off on that lap and not get himself any better there. He'll have time here to get a couple more of them in, probably maybe even 3 more. Yeah, the thing I worry about on the first lap is that run down to the first corner. It really seems to bottleneck down there. You're kind of going downhill and a really hard hairpin to the right there, and I think that's going to just be tough. Hopefully a few of these guys, it is a 40-minute race, a few of these guys realize up front there that there's a long way to go, and we can make it through there without any hard incidents.
Yeah, that run into turn 1 is a little bit tricky. It kind of sucks you in because it's got a really fast entry, and then it tightens up, and so it can kind of fool you to how much you really need to brake, and then they go into those famous S's. And I'm assuming that'll be just single file. And so we'll see if these guys can sort it out without having too much carnage.
Yeah, and that'll be key. Now, the Spec Racer Ford certainly can take a little bit of damage, but you beat it up a little bit too much, and then you won't get the speed you need here to stay relevant. And because you talked about the draft fest that may, in fact, happen and probably will. There's plenty of wide open areas to run, and certainly through 200R and through Spoon, a very fast section of the track, setting up that long back stretch, and your run down to 130R, which in this car you can pretty much take. It's no lift. Richie, I don't know how much time you spent in the car here, but the Spec Racer Ford is actually fun to get through 130R.
Yeah, it's quite a fun car to drive. I found it pretty difficult under braking. The thing's really rear end happy, so pretty impressed with how some of these guys can drive it into like turn 1 and like the last chicane without losing control, because I definitely have some problems with it when I drive.
Yalin coming back around now. Let's see what the Rothman Spec Racer Ford can do here. Oh, it's going to be close, but it's not going to be close enough. That was his fastest lap, though. That was his fastest lap, but still only good enough for 4th.
Yeah, obviously, David Gasser's put down quite a qualifying lap there, because nobody seems to be getting close to that at all. Quite a close group of cars, though, looking at this from about 3rd on to about 8th or 9th. They're all within about 3 or 4 tenths of each other, so it'll be quite a battle once we get this race started on.
Yeah, no, all the way back to, I see, all the way back to about 18th, 19th place, everybody in the 226 area, so, and everybody behind that, not too far off the pace, so this should be fun. We've got a few drivers who've not gotten into qualifying lap or have opted not to take one to begin with, and that's okay. Starting at the back of these things, certainly a good way to get acquainted with the group and have a little bit of fun. But some of these big dogs up front, they'll be fighting pretty hard, and you can certainly pick up positions with attrition. It's probably going to happen. We've seen it before, but it'll still be fun. See, Stevie Ray just had a good qualifying run, just put himself in the top 20 with his 227.1.
Yeah, sometimes in these type of races where everybody's running together no matter what, if you know you're going to start basically in the last third, taking the pit lane start sometimes is the safest way, because you're going to catch back up by just the draft itself. Yeah, and you have a little strategy you can play here today with needing that pit stop for fuel. So pit stops can be the great equalizer. If you mess it up, man, it's so costly in time. So much time can be gained by your opponents, and you lose a race in that pit stop. But I'll tell you what, we've got drivers now finishing up their qualifying runs, and here is Demetrius Huduli. He is now coming through here to finish up his lap. Currently sitting 3rd. He's not going to do any better there. 3rd, not going to be a bad place to start, though.
Looks like the top four are going to be well, okay. I say top four. Really, the top 10 looking like a pretty tough crowd right now. As I said, still we've got some drivers out here finishing their laps around. Several actually. Still trying to finish up. They're allowed to finish this lap if they made it across.
Yeah, going back on something you said about taking some damage on these cars, they are pretty strong, but because we're pretty flat out, about probably 50%, if not more, that arrow would really take a hit.
Coming around now here. Here's Chauvin getting a little bit of a push from Gaspers. Gaspers peels off to the pit, but Chauvin going to try and make the most of it as he comes across. I think he's going to improve. No, not enough. I thought he'd gotten a little help there.
Yeah, hopefully not too much help. Give you that 1x and then just eliminate your lap time altogether, right?
Here comes Alejandro Liero, and he's going to dive in for the pits. Okay, so I've got Jason Dunnington and Adam Bradshaw still out here. Dunnington currently sitting in 21st. Bradshaw 24th.
Through that last chicane there. Oh, a little bit of lockup and going into that chicane there for Adam.
Yeah, that's not going to help. That may not even register a lap for him. I think he got what might be considered an off course there. All right. Well, there we go. That is everybody in. So let's go to the grid here in the Weekend Warrior Spec Racer Ford Challenge. David Gaspers is going to be your pole sitter today, right along with Yoni Kajanen there in row 1. Row 2, Demetrius Hudalui in row 2 with Richard Yallen, 4th. Robert Plumley in row 3. David Streeter starts 6th. Row 4, Michael Shaw, right along. Josh Arnold there in 8th. Dave Legati will start in 9th. And our good friend Jose Castillejo Jomo, our buddy there, starting 10th today.
Yeah, going on to road number 6, we got Austin Winter in the 11th spot. Philippe Chauvin in the 12th spot. Row 7 will be Matt Cox and Daniel Sadro. Row 8 will be Jason Perry and Ryan Sorelli. Row 9 is Alejandro Liero and Steven Elson. And rounding out the top 20 will be Edward Doherty and Stevie Ray.
All right, and then we'll go to the next row. Jason Dunnington and Fred Desai with us today. A decent qualifying effort for him. Nick Carty, Adam Bradshaw in row 12. Row 13th, Neil Dawkins. Keith Walsh will start 26th. Row 14, Paul Barbuza and Olav Vatschel will start 28th. Row 15th, Jeff Cantor and Gary Wolbolt will start 30th today.
And finishing out the rest of them, we have row 16 with Alan Chapman and Jeffrey Gambrelli. Row 17, Essa Numi, Mihail Mihail. I'm going to go with that. Row 18, sorry, Mihail. And we got Joshua and Wendell Lowe. Joshua Borkowski is right there on the last row.
All right, and Wendell Lowe here today, and he will start 36th. That's all right, Richie. We'll work on those together. A couple late ones getting in the field here, and just when we thought we had all the names down, they went and changed the field on us. So here we go. We'll have a bit of a pace lap here. Not far. The pace car will peel off here into the pit lane, but we'll start back here at 130R. Get them going and then cut them loose.
Yeah, kind of a short warm-up there. So once they get going, they're going to get going green within a couple of corners.
Big field today, and I know we talked about that race down into turn 1. We'll give you the best camera angle, I'm sure, and you're going to see exactly how competitive this front of this field is. Gaspers, Kajinen, Hoodlewee, and Richard Yallen, Robert Plumley. Nice strength of field here today. 2,794. And some of you may even wonder, what does that mean? Strength of field, 2,794. Well, that's the average I rating of the drivers in here. Their average road I rating. And 2,794, pretty impressive. We made the observation earlier. It's really, really varied, Richie. Upwards of 7,500 all the way down to 700. So a mixed bag.
Yeah, sometimes that's not indicative of their experience. So it just depends on how many official races they do.
All right, the Porsche pulls off into the pits. Here we go. It's all up to David Gaspers. We're waiting on the flag. And we're away. Gaspers on the loud pedal. Boy, gets off to a really nice start. He's actually all alone. They'll start diving at him. I'm sure there'll be a few trying to send it into turn one. But a nice start up front. Gaspers taking him through.
Yep, real clean going into turn one, like we were talking about. It's a tricky part of the track, and single file into the S's here.
Oh, already Kajinen trying to make a move on Hoodlewee. It's not there. He's got to watch out. Here's some Richard Yallen. Gaspers getting the car up over the curbs. Boy, he got it on it quick, and Hoodlewee is already starting to drop pace to him. He's got to really worry about Kajinen. Kajinen all over him here.
And Gasper's already trying to gap the group there, kind of like he did in qualifying, kind of break that draft a little bit.
Yeah, and now Kajinen backs off just a little bit, trying to take it a little easy here. Got to be careful in the hairpin here. Very tricky to get through here and not lose the grip. Oh, boy, Kajinen gets it all the way out, just over the turf there. Got to be careful.
Yeah, you get out there a little too wide, and it's real easy to lose control of the car. And these guys are all lining up, playing it really smart here.
Yeah, Plumley, Shaw. That's becoming a bit of a battle now. Plumley here trying to get a run at Yallen, but he has got Shaw right over his shoulder. Shaw hanging here.
Yeah.
Shaw Van just behind them, trouble. Boy, I think David Streeter was involved in that too. It was Streeter who got around. Austin Winter was also involved in that. We're going to catch the replay of it here right now.
Looks like two guys in front of him got together, and unfortunately Austin was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. He's got some pretty big damage on the front of that car too.
Yeah, like you said, it was just the spin was just right up in front of them there.
And Austin's coming into the pits right now as I'm watching.
Yeah, goes in hard to that barrier there. And that is more damage than this car is capable of handling. Another incident out there was Joshua Borge Bonkowski spun by himself. Several cars got by clean, but his car is a wreck after that happened. Let's go back to the battle for a second, though. Because Kajinen still putting the pressure on Hoodlewee, trying to open this thing up and make it a battle. Forget about what Gaspers is doing. He's continuing to pull away. But the number 22 continuing to put the pressure on Demetrius. And Kajinen feeling a little bit of pressure of his own from Yallen. Yallen almost took a look there.
While these guys are battling, I'm impressed by David Gaspers. He's already got about a 1.2 second gap on these guys, and so he's just running away with it at the moment.
Dave Ligotti trying to take position away. Ligotti getting up to this 8th spot. Gets by Jomo there. Jomo kind of kindly let him get by. I think he knew it might have been a little bit quicker right then. Look, Ligotti already picking up a spot.
we got about four guys there between Josh Arnold to Philippe. They're fairly close together, running, battling hard for that top 10 position.
Yeah, and you know what? The battle 10th on back is almost as crazy as I'm watching Chauvin, Matt Cox, Jason Perry all kind of go at it right now. Jason Perry, of course, a name we're familiar with, already up 3 spots, starting to make his way up through the field.
Still got a really good battle going on for a second there between Demetrius and Yoni and Richard Holland. They're pretty tight coming onto the main straightaway.
Yeah, they are, and well, they may keep at this pace here, Richie. If we were talking about draft and maybe trying to save a little fuel, these three may want to work together, but maybe not. Here comes Yoni Kajanen to the inside. He's going to have advantage here on the bottom.
I think Yoni had enough of Demetrius and see if he can get in front of him and see if he can chase down David.
Yeah, see if maybe he's got a better plan to go catch Gaspers, but that was a nice move he put on Demetrius there. Yalin sitting in the popcorn position, just enjoyed watching that. Maybe picked up a little knowledge. Maybe going to try and open this up now for his chance to get around Demetrius. Just behind them, Michael Shaw, Robert Plumley still going on. Stevie Ray all of a sudden has an issue on track. Boy, I think
he just lost it on his own there.
Yeah, Adam Bradshaw was part of that too, though. After we watched Stevie Ray hit right there, if we could pick up Adam Bradshaw, because something happened to him and his car wound up going over. Yeah, there's Bradshaw dropping all the way through the field. But I think he tried to make an evasive move to avoid the trouble with Stevie Ray, and his car got all turned around and, like I said, suffered heavy damage.
This battle for second place hasn't gone away. Yoni's in second, but Demetrius is hanging right with him. And, Richard Yalin's right there as well, like you said, in the popcorn seat. And here goes Demetrius. He's going around the inside there. He's got the pass.
Kajanen right there. Yalin are watching right out his front end here. Gonna follow him right here through the chicane.
If I was Richard, I'd be sitting there just like that and maybe saving some fuel and try to jump them when they come onto for their one and only stop.
Kajanen back to the front here. Gonna try to anyway. On the inside. Nice run through there. Back to Kajanen. Demetrius got to wait for his opportunity here.
If they're trying to slingshot each other, they're kind of doing it in the wrong spot. They want to do that on the straightaways, not as they're breaking for these corners. So I think they're just racing hard. And I kind of forgot about David a little bit.
Yeah, I think they're being racers right now. I tend to agree with you on that a little bit. But, man, Gaspers just really opened it up on him already, man. It's 3.3 seconds. And that's going to be really tough to overcome unless they have a little bit of pit strategy that maybe makes them a little bit quicker. But, boy, like you said, they need to pick their opportunities to draft here a little bit better. Battle here for 7th. That's Legati.
Yeah, that whole group has been together for a while now, so they've been battling pretty hard for the top 7 spot, but it goes all the way back to, looks like about almost 14th spot.
Yeah, that has become a bit of a train, and a lot of drivers involved in that quest. Ryan Sorrell in 15th. Now, just behind him is Alan Chapman. The Team Bushfig driver is up 15 spots. Chapman, one of those who didn't, I don't think he got a qualifying effort in. And Chapman has moved his way through the field here pretty quickly, and he's catching Sorrell. Oh, and, well, a bad line there. He must have been listening to the broadcast.
Yeah, that's not going to help his run very well. Yep, 7th place here.
Yeah, and Ligotti's going to get by him there. Oh, watch out. Here comes Jason Perry. Perry's pressing.
A lot of action going through 130R, but here they come to the chicane there at the end. Tight braking zone.
Jose lets him go. Chauvin, though, the big winner there, he gets another spot, and Perry picks up a couple more. All to go cast Josh Arnold and Dave Ligotti, who are battling again, and Arnold now looking to make the move on Ligotti. Boy, Arnold was right up the gearbox there, and then got on the brakes a little bit sooner.
Yeah, they got quite a battle going on. You make one mistake there. If Dave makes one mistake, he's going to go back quite a few positions. So really exciting to watch there. The battle up front with Yoni and Demetrius and Richard still right there, really close for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. David's gone.
Well, they said you'd have about 30 minutes of fuel. I would say that now we're under that 30-minute mark. I think we're in pretty good area here where they could pit if they want. Watching this battle, though, between Kaijin, and you saw Kaijin sliding around there just a bit. Kaijin and cooking these tires here early, Richie.
Yeah, and I don't know what kind of effect they have. I haven't driven this car enough to know how much they wear out. But they are sliding around, trying to race really hard, but going off your fuel strategy, I mean, if their window's open now, so, you know, if I was back in the pack getting held up, I might come in and then take fuel and then try to jump them later on.
Let's go back to 13th here. There's Steven Elson. There we go here. Oh, and off the track there, that's Matt Cox. Was in the middle of all that. Sorrell able to get by.
That one small mistake cost them about 5 spots.
Yep, they just went on by Elson, Liero, Sorrell. Did a good job of bringing it back in, though. That car does have a little bit of damage on the rear end of it.
Got a really good battle with Michael Shaw and Robert Plumley battling right there through the chicane. Robert Plumley tried to dive bomb him there and had to check up, lost a little space.
Yeah, he paid, didn't he? That was a big sacrifice there for that. Now, those two have really been up on each other quite a bit. But behind them, man, they are still battling it out here. Jomo and Philippe Chauvin. Cox picking up a couple more spots. This is craziness here in this mid-pack battle that we keep going back and forth to here, Richie.
Yeah, they're racing pretty hard. It's kind of fun to watch. That 3 wide down the front straight, taking 2 positions into turn 1. That's take a lot of guts, and looks like he's pulled away, or he's starting to pull away from them a little bit and trying to catch back up and make up those positions he lost a little earlier.
Well, you know, we haven't paid a lot of attention to what's going on towards the back of the field. There's another great battle for 17th right now. Keith Walsh, Daniel Sadro. Sadro trying to find an opportunity here to get around the Canadian. Walsh is picked up 9 spots, so he's had a good run through the field. Sadro, as I say that, Walsh runs it wide right there. Sadro not able to do anything with that. He's dropped a couple of spots, but behind Sadro, you find Olav Vachel, who has found 9 spots himself up through this field. So a lot of cars advancing here, still trying to pick up positions. But right now it's Keith Walsh leading that battle back here for 17th.
Yeah, those guys are racing just as hard as everybody else, and it's impressive that he moved up that many positions so far into this race. And we'll see if these guys go. He locked up the wheels a little bit.
We're back to battling for second here. Kaizen and Demetrius Houdelou. Richie, these looks like these two are going to battle right up to the pit stop. Be damned with the strategy.
Absolutely. And like I said earlier, I kind of like what Richard Yallin's doing, just kind of hanging back, staying clean. He's probably saving some fuel, and when he comes in, hopefully he puts in less and he can just jump these two.
Yeah, and Demetrius, good move there, down to the inside as they got down into turn one. The first corner, as they like to call it.
I still can't believe that David's now got a 6.6 second lap. So obviously his speed in qualifying was no fluke.
He's still turning 224s. He just turned a 224.8 that time by. Here we go. We got some takers for the pit stops here, Richie.
Yeah, like I said, that window's open. So, if you're getting held up, this might be a good time to come in, to get your pit stop done, come out in clean air, and then just see if you can put in those hot laps.
David Strader making his way out now.
Yep, looks like he's coming out in 31st spot. But he's got some clean air around him, so we'll see what he can do.
Oh boy, and we've got trouble on track for our buddy Jomo. Trying to find it here on the replay now. There it is. He's going to be in the red car there, the number 38. Looks like the exit of Degner 1 just eats him up there, Richie.
Yeah, like I said earlier, these cars are really tricky on the brakes, man. It's really easy to lose that rear end, and just caught him out. Luckily, he didn't get any contact with the barrier or with anybody else.
Boy, he lost a ton of positions there, as you saw all those cars going by. The likes of Jason Perry, Steve Elson, Philip Chauvin. Tough break.
Still got some time to make it up, though. I mean, he's, like I say, he didn't get any damage. Just got to calm down and then put in some good, consistent lap times.
Shaw, Plumley, still going at it. Now Plumley is being chased by Shaw. And you know what? The Legati or Josh Arnold starting to close in on them, and there goes Shaw into the pits.
Yeah, kind of just getting out of that traffic, and hopefully has a good pit stop, and then he can, like I said, get some clear laps.
Legati being overtaken here, though. Josh Arnold looking to try and get this spot away from him. Arnold's going to take it for now. Legati is not going to cross him over. But this has left Plumley kind of a sitting duck right there for these two.
Yeah, he's kind of all by himself. These guys will probably chase them down if they play nicely with each other.
They've still got that pack right behind them. Jason Perry and Elson, Chauvin, Matt Cox, and Ryan Sorrell all still hanging out together here. They hadn't been able to do much, though, in trying to catch the packs up in front of them. And still up front, David Gaspers maintains his lead now, 7.5 seconds. Demetrius Houdelou, he's still in second for now. Joni Kajanen hasn't pressed for a little bit here. Yallin's still in the mix. I'm curious to see when these three decide to come down. My spidey senses are starting to go off here with just over 20 minutes left right now.
Yeah, they're probably waiting for want someone to pull the trigger, and I would assume that all three of them will come in together.
I would think it's really the only chance they have of catching Gaspers.
Yeah, I just think he's too fast. It's going to take a major mistake from him, I think, for them to catch. He's got 7.8 seconds. You know, maybe he messes up his pit stop or something, but I think these guys are going to be battling for second place.
Yeah, I think that's probably what you've got to hope for at this point. And they do have a good battle going. Look at that. Oh, Kaizen and Demetrius has a little bit hard on the brakes there. Kaizen, it was all up in the gearbox. Kaizen is still there and now moves to the inside.
Side by side going into turn one. We'll see what happens.
I wonder if Demetrius actually thought about going in the pits right there and it changed his mind or something, but he did lock him up. And that's going to cost him the spot for now. Kaizen is going to go back to second place here.
Yeah, you know, sometimes those guys on the pit box, they call you in and then they tell you to stay out. Kind of throws you all off.
Oh, battle for 11th. Cox side by side in turn one.
Yeah, they've been battling pretty good. They both have damage, though. I was looking at the back of both those cars, and they got some heavy damage.
Well, Chauvin is the man leading that group. Cox, though, has that rear end damage on the car, and certainly that could be affecting grip or even just top end speed. Like you said, both of them got pretty good damage, and Chauvin right now having to try and play defense here.
And then Jason Perry and Steve Elson just in front of them. Steve Elson just kind of dropped some wheels there, but he's battling as they go into the tight left-hander here. Gets that spot from him.
Yeah, wow. Nice move by Elson. That continues his charge forward. That's 10 spots. Elson still turning really solid times. 2:26.2 last time by.
And he's about 5 seconds behind that group in front of him, group of three. So, if he can just kind of put some laps together, he might be able to bring that group of four up to them, make a group of seven out of it.
Yeah, he does have some clean air in front of him to work with right now. That's a good point. He really got a shot to insert himself here into the top five. Josh Arnold just getting by Robert Plumley. Arnold, nice move there, picking up Plumley.
Yeah, nice power move.
Plumley seems to be struggling a little bit here deeper into the run. I'm wondering if that fighting he was doing there early is what's got him a little bit used up right now.
I'm watching these guys battle again for second place. Still haven't come in, so they're still hanging out there and going to take probably the least amount of fuel they can do.
Yeah, Michael Shaw still the lead car right now of the ones that have come in. He's working on his second lap now out of the pits. Mike finds himself down in 17th. All right, your David Gaspers, 17 and a half minutes left in this race. You're about halfway around the circuit now. Does your crew chief come on and say, let's bring her in? Or do you just run this thing right to the end of the tank, take splash fuel, and finish it up? What do you think, Richard?
I just really think on your track positioning. If I got clear track, I'm going to keep going. But those three guys, Demetrius, Yoni, and Richard, I think they're just going to go until they have to take the least amount of pit gas and just see who can tough it out till the end.
Well, I'll tell you what, second place belongs to any one of those three. They have provided us with a lot of action here so far early in this race. Steve Elson's still leading this charge back here with Jason Perry. Just behind Perry, Matt Cox, Philippe Chauvin still having a little bit of fun. Matt had just had a moment there. Chauvin looked like he almost ran into him, but both of them get away clean. Then the battles thin out a little bit. Fred Desai and Keith Walsh are two of the closer ones in the middle of the pack right now at 17th and 18th. And then you've got to go all the way back to 23rd place, where you'll find Alan Chapman, Neil Dawkins, having a little battle of their own. Now they have all come in for pit stops at this point, so varying strategies at play right there. Back up to Elson and Perry here.
Oh, we got a taker. Demetrius just went into the pits all by himself.
Wow. Gaspers is in. So Gaspers is in the pit.
And then Richard just passed Yoni as well.
Oh, Gaspers with trouble in his pit. He's got trouble getting into his box. Oh, no.
Well, there's that 8 seconds there hoping to make up.
Boy, I'll tell you what. Demetrius Hoodalui just came in behind him. Gaspers finally gets pulled away, but Hoodaloo's going to come out right behind him.
That's called the Red Bull strategy right there. It's pretty good for Demetrius. He's going to be right there with him. And, you know, hopefully we'll see if he can hang with him. You know, David's obviously shown he's got the speed to pull away.
He gets out, Gaspers gets out right in front of Olav Vatschel, who has not taken a pit stop yet.
And that's definitely going to help because now Demetrius is going to have to fight that lap traffic. And we'll see where it all stacks up when Yoni and Richard come in as well.
Well, it wasn't that easy, was it? Big trouble for Gaspers there in the pit. That cost him, that was a 17.1 second stop. That cost him, like you said, about 8 seconds.
Maybe he was just doing it to make a race out of it.
No, I saw panic in his eyes. I definitely saw panic.
You know, sometimes when you got a lead like that, you kind of relax, and then you come in and you kind of screw it all up on the simplest things. But I definitely think he's got the speed to stay in front.
Dave Ligotti had come in, taking his pit stop. He came back out on the track right out in front of Michael Shaw, and that is a battle for position. Both have hit the pit window. That is for 11th place right there. And, well, as the cars in front of them start to cycle in, this could be pretty good positions for them. Right in front of them is Demetrius Hoodalui, who is now finally making his way around Vatschel. Vatschel having to be real careful out there.
And we got Yoni and Richard are into the pits now. So it'll be really interesting to see where Demetrius comes around and how it plays out.
Well, Demetrius is going through 130R now. So
these guys will have to take a little less fuel, so that's the key.
Josh Arnold's in, Robert Plumley's in, Jason Perry, Matt Cox. Kaizen and Yalin are both in their box now.
And Yoni's away, so he's pulling out.
Here comes Hoodalui across the start-finish line. Here comes Gaspers. All right, so Kaizen is going to get out in front of Gaspers here, Richie.
Yeah, it's key making that late stop. You take less fuel. So race is on. Richard had kind of a slow stop as well, so he fell back. He lost about a second in that pit stop. Yoni's pit stop was pretty short compared to everybody else, so I don't know if those guys took tires or what.
Yoni, 10.8 seconds.
And all the other pit stops look like they're in the 16 to 17 range, so we'll see.
Well, he did something, and advantage goes to him. Now he's got to find a way to hold off David Gaspers, who is on the go.
Yeah, David's about a second and a half off, but catching him is one thing, and then passing him is always another.
You're right, absolutely. And here comes Demetrius Hoodalui. He is now pulling in here in behind Gaspers and Kaizen. It's only about 2.2 seconds. As those two fight a little bit here, this could open things up for Demetrius.
Yeah, and what we had earlier was a blowout win to come into pretty exciting finish with about 11 minutes to go.
Take a look on board here with David Gaspers as he gives up the role of being the hunted and now becomes the hunter. Yoni Kajanen just up the road. He heads into the sun here. We're going to get the great finish we expected. I fully expect Gaspers to at least catch Kajanen. Like you said, Rishi, pass him. That's going to be another thing. I'll be shocked to see the Finn just give it up to a Diaz driver.
No, when you finally got that lead, you're going to make that car really, really wide.
Yeah, it does look like Gaspers is picking up time pretty quick here.
If these guys get battling, it could bring Demetrius right back into the mix. He's currently 3 seconds back. You know, Richard kind of fell off that pace with that slow stop, so he's kind of lonely in fourth place.
Yeah, I think Demetrius has got the bit in his teeth, man, and he is just grinding, trying to get there. Tell you what, Michael Shaw is really, really close to maybe picking up a position here on Josh Arnold, and as I said that, he made a little bit of an overcorrection on the wheel and loses ground. He had I'm sorry, it was Josh Arnold that had Legati set up for a move there. My bad. Lost track of the cars. Now Legati trying to hang on to it.
He's definitely looking.
He's looking. Kajanen doing a good job of keeping pace and driving in his line here. He's going to get this opportunity, though. Into Spoon. Gaspers on the inside. Going to try and take it here. Gaspers goes right on by. Here comes Kajanen. No. Kajanen couldn't get it turned in there, Richie.
No, it's a really tough corner. The car's all loaded up and kind of loose as it is. So we'll see if he can get in the draft. We're watching on board with him right now. And see if he can make a move here at 130R. Here we go. It looks like he's going to be a little patient through here. Maybe take a stab here at the last chicane.
Well, there's 8 minutes to go. If Kajanen can just stay right here. Oh, big mistake there. Boy, Gaspers locks him up.
Yeah, he's getting those cars up on two wheels. You know, a little heat on Gaspers might make him make some mistakes that he wasn't making earlier. So maybe Yoni's doing the right thing and just putting the pressure on him and hopefully force him into going off the track or something.
Yeah, a little easier to stay focused when you've got a 7-second lead than a guy right up there in your gearbox. And unfortunately for Demetrius, he's not been able to make any of that time up here so far.
Yeah, he's kind of running around in a lonely third, and about 3 seconds back is Richard as well, kind of running around in fourth place. So that battle seems to have subsided that we had early on.
Now Michael Shaw is battling. Michael Shaw and Josh Arnold going at it. This is for 7th. Shaw started in 7th. He'd sure love to get that spot back. Jason Perry, Philippe Chauvin. This is for the top 10. Perry currently in 10th. Chauvin wanting to take it away. It looks like Chauvin got a little bit of damage repaired on his car in his pit stop. That's right. They get the they got two spare cars for this race. So Chauvin took the fresh one in his stop. Oh, right up on Jason Perry. Almost bent it up in the hairpin. Like you said, Richie, these cars really tough to break.
Yeah, it's really hard to just outbrake somebody without losing control yourself. So, you know, these guys are fighting out pretty good. They're making their cars pretty wide, so it's getting near the end. About 6 minutes to go.
Yeah, maybe just oh, Perry goes off. He fought the wheel there, lost grip. Look at him. He comes right back at Chauvin, though. Wow, what a recovery there by Jason Perry.
If you can keep your foot into it, you just kind of keep that momentum, and you get a nice run up that straightaway, and here he goes. He's going to make that pass, try to make the pass. He does make the pass before 130R.
Amazing. It goes all the way off track, almost spins it, and reels it back in, and able to get the position back from Chauvin. It's a solid piece of driving there for Perry.
Yeah, I think right now Kaijin is just happy to hang on the back of him. He's probably going to realize he's probably got one shot at this as far as making that pass, so he's just going to wait till that last lap, possibly.
Yeah, and I'm thinking right now they probably got about, when they come across the line, they're probably going to have like 2 laps to go. So this battle definitely going to heat up. But what Kaijin's got to do is just be patient, keep the car on track, keep his pace, stay with Gaspers, don't let him get too far away. Almost starting to get him a little bit farther away than I'm comfortable with right now at just about half a second.
Everybody's kind of spread out. We got a couple of battles throughout the pack, but we don't have those big packs like we had early on.
Yeah, we don't. In fact, one of the bigger packs I'm seeing is in the middle of the field right now for 14th. Ryan Sorrell is leading Daniel Sadro and Jose Castaneo Mo. And that's a good 3-car battle right now for 14th. I see Fred Desai just got up to 21st, past Edward Darty. Those two working together and having a little bit of fun. Both look like they're on their spare cars right about now.
Yeah, Kaijinen's dropping off the back a little bit of Gaspers. I mean, we know Gaspers is fast, so, you know, a little mistake by Kaijinen might just be, you know, all Gaspers need is to break that draft.
Yeah, well, you know, I talked about this just about a moment ago. When he was only about a half second behind, I just you get more outside of a half second up to 6/10, 7/10. It's more than I'm comfortable with, and damn, Gaspers just took almost 2 seconds out of Kaijinen in that last corner.
Yeah, you know what? I actually was kind of watching him personally, and it sounded like he missed his downshift, and then he had to downshift right in the middle of the chicane, so he really lost his momentum.
Well, with that, I think he might have lost his chance here. You know, he may be really thin on fuel too. That's what we don't know. How thin did he go with that fuel? We already know it was a really, really quick stop. He could be soft shoeing it right now.
Yeah, I mean, he had quite a quick stop. So you might be right. He might be really thin and just hoping to save some here.
I mean, even Demetrius is taking a little bit of chunk out of his time now. All right, let's look at Ligotti and Plumley for 5th place here. These two have been up to this business for a while here. This is an important spot. 5th place, of course.
And they have
Plumley.
Richard Yallen just a couple of seconds ahead of him, too. So.
Oh, and Plumley's off. Oh, and he hits that barrier. It's hard damage on the left front. Look at a replay here real quick. That's a shame for Plumley.
He just caught that inside curve there, and fortunately it's a little too late in the race to make up those spots, so he's going to lose quite a few spots for this finish.
Yeah, he is. That's Again, that's pretty unfortunate for him. Had such a good run going today.
That's kind of left everybody spread out just a little bit more. Watching a little bit of Demetrius here. You know, he's starting to creep in a tiny bit on Yoni. So, like I said, you might be right there that Yoni's having to save some fuel to get to the end. And they're coming up on some lap traffic, it looks like, as well.
Yoni going off track there. Getting late in this race here, digging, and maybe digging too much.
Yeah, it looks like he lost a half a second to Demetrius Torios. There you go. I'll get that right one time.
Oh, Plumley. Got trouble with Plumley? Let's try and get this in the replay. I didn't exactly see what happened. Maybe made contact with somebody. Looks like he might have got a slowdown through there, Richie.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's one of those things that iRacing gives you if you try to short track it. And it's very painful when you're at this point in the race to kind of have to lift and let all those guys back.
Yeah. Drop Perry all the way back to, that's 10th there.
Looks like we're on the final lap as well.
Yes, we are. Our leader, David Gaspers, has run a good race. It's been solid for him. Obviously, Kajanen, with a little bit of strategy there on the pit stop, gets out in front of him, but not able to hold him off. Gaspers had tremendous pace all day, and, well, he's going to take it right here to the checkered flag. All he's got to do is keep it on track here over the last, after the last few sections of the track. Into the straightaway now. Not much work to do from here.
No, he's definitely proven he was the fastest guy in qualifying and the race.
And Gaspers leaves it wide open one last time. Set up for the last curve. Gaspers will come out and around, head for the start-finish line, and win the race here today at Suzuka, the Weekend Warriors. Kajanen trying to hang on here.
I think he's out of fuel. Yep. And going to end up third.
He is. Demetrius Louis going to wind up getting the spot. Well, that was a bit of a shocker. Kajanen empty at the end. Will still finish on the podium. Yalin going to take the fourth place. Ligotti fifth. Josh Arnold gets ahead of Michael Shaw to do it and finish sixth. Elson, Dunnington, and Plumley round out your top 10.
You called it, Sean. He had probably a little thin on that fuel there, and he's about 100 yards too short.
Trying to find a couple battles here left on track. Another car coming across without any fuel. Philippe Chauvin is out. And he is going to lose positions to Austin Winter and our buddy Jomo as they come across. Poor Chauvin's going to wind up 18th because of that. And with that, we will head to a quick break here. We'll come back with the official finishing order on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Welcome back to Suzuka. And here in Japan with the Global SimRacing Channel, we just wrapped up the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors League race here today. 40 minutes of fast, furious, fun action. Let's go to the results now. David Gaspers, your big winner today. And folks, he did it on speed and he did it on talent. It was quite a run for him. It was under threat there for a while. Kaijinen made a run at it with a little bit of pit strategy, but in the end, it was David Gaspers. Demetrius Hudaluid, he will now finish second today in this race. As Kaijinen runs out of fuel there at the end, he'll finish third. Richard Yolland will take fourth. That's right where he started, folks. Dave Ligotti, fifth. Sixth going to go to Josh Arnold. Michael Snow in seventh place. Eighth going to go to Steven Elson. Ninth, Robert Plumley, and Jason Perry gets into the top 10 there at the end. He'll finish 10th.
And rounding out 11th through 20th, we got Matt Cox, who was quite lively out there with some action. Ryan Sorrell, Daniel Sadro is in 13th. David Streeter ended up 14th. Austin Winter came back from an early mistake. He's ended 15th. Philippe Chavan, 16th. Paul Barbuza in 17th. Alejandro Liero in 18th. Stevie Ray finishes 19th. And Edward Doherty rounding up the top 20.
All right, 21st, Neil Dawkins. Jeff Cantor, 22nd. 23rd, going to Esanumi, who picked up quite a few spots to get there. 10 spots he gained. He started at the back of the field. Fred Desai. Fred, that was a real adventure getting to the line. Fred ran out of fuel all the way on the backstretch, manages to make it, finish 24th. Jeffrey Gambrel will finish 25th. Mihail Velasquez will finish 26th today. 27th, Jason Dunnington. 28th, Olav Vatschel. Keith Walsh, 29th. 30th, going to go to Adam Bradshaw. Richie, I'll save you the trouble. I'll take these last few here. Jomo today will finish 31st. Gary Wolbolt, 32nd. 33rd for Alan Chapman. Nick Carty had a short day. 34th place. 35th for Joshua Borje Bonkowski, who had trouble very early in this race. He'll finish 35th. And Wendell Lowe never got started. And that's it. That's your finishing order. And our winner is here, Richie. Let's take a moment to talk to him. David Gaspers, what a day. It looked like it was a lot of fun. Do you like Suzuka?
Yeah, definitely. It's a really nice track.
Yeah, it is. And you had a lot of it to yourself today. What was the ride around like?
A little boring, to be honest. I expected Demetrius to be much closer to me. He was fighting me during the week as well. So I was a little surprised. And after I had that gap in the first stint, I almost threw it away in the pit stop when I missed my pit crew and had to reverse. But yeah, turned out nice after that.
Yeah, that mistake there in the pits was pretty costly. It cost you almost 8 seconds in time. And Joni Kaijinen tried to use a little bit of strategy there to maybe make that be a factor. But did you have any idea that maybe he was light on fuel?
Yeah, definitely. I knew how long Demetrius stopped and how long he stopped, and they were right next to each other before the stop. So it was clear that he didn't have much fuel, and as soon as I overtook him, I think he was trying to save fuel behind me. And I think he even ran out of fuel towards the end.
Indeed, he did. Yeah, he just got on the podium there as Demetrius was able to get by and finish second. But well, listen, congratulations to you. A lot of fun watching you take the win out there today, and you got to be happy with that. Now, are you competing full time this season right now?
The official one, yes. I'm only doing this one when I like the tracks, to have a little bit of something else sometimes.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully we'll see you back next time. I know we won't be back until May 6th. We'll be in Phillip Island, but my best to you. And again, congratulations on the big win.
Thank you.
All right, Richie. And tell you what, I was going to wait just a little bit longer here, see if we had anybody else for an interview. It doesn't look like we do here at this point. So maybe it's time to put a pretty bow on this and wrap her up. But we would like to thank everybody in the SRF Weekend Warriors League for making this event a success, and especially to Steve Ray for organizing the entire affair and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. We know you have lots of choices when you fly. Thanks for flying with GSRC. Thanks to the companies, equipment, and software that you see on the screen now that we use on our broadcasts. The iconic original music that lets your ears alert your eyes you're watching a GSRC production comes courtesy of Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them, Richie.
Yeah, the SRF Weekend Warriors returns May 6th for round 8 from Phil Island. That should be an awesome track for these cars. GSRC will be there to bring you all the action. We hope you join us. Until then, take note of the upcoming broadcasts sliding across your screen now and mark them down on your calendar. If you'd like more information about GSRC, including a complete list of our future broadcasts, you can find it all at www.globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSRC Channel and Facebook at /Global Sim Racing Channel. And while you're here, if you haven't done it yet, subscribe by simply hitting that button on this YouTube channel.
Thanks a lot, Richie. And on behalf of him, Richie Hearn, and our director, Joe Peak, our camera artist, Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. With that said, we're off to have a little bit of fun storming the castle for old buddy Sue. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.